February 13th, 1542. The Tower of London breathes mist. A girl, barely 19, walks barefoot, prayer book trembling in her hands. Every step echoes, every breath is borrowed. That girl? She was once Queen of England. Catherine Howard, Henry VIII's rose without a thorn. But there were thorns everywhere now, in her past, in her silence, in the betrayal that led her to the axe. Catherine wasn't born royal. She was born into chaos, her father a disgraced noble, her mother dead young. Raised in a crowded household under her grandmother's roof, her childhood was unsupervised, unprotected. At 13, her music tutor touched her where he should not. At 15, she shared a bed with Francis Dereham, calling each other husband and wife. But in Tudor England, a girl's voice didn't matter, her silence did. These moments, once hidden, would come back to destroy her. Catherine was summoned to court as a lady-in-waiting to Queen Anne of Cleves. She wore finer clothes, learned court etiquette, and smiled like a noblewoman. But beneath the lace, she was still the girl from the maiden's chamber, still hiding secrets. Then Henry VIII saw her, 50 years old, ailing, angry, desperate for youth. Catherine, just 17, was everything he thought he had lost. He fell, not in love, but into obsession. July 28th, 1540, Henry married Catherine less than 3 weeks after his annulment. She was young, radiant, a symbol of royal restoration. He drowned her in jewels, land, and titles. But behind the palace doors it was no fairy tale. His ulcerated leg festered. He could barely walk, let alone satisfy a young bride. She smiled in public, but in private, she suffocated. And loneliness, again, became her weakness. Enter Thomas Culpeper, a courtier with charm, danger, and dark eyes. Whispers turned into letters, letters into midnight meetings. Jane Rochford, a lady-in-waiting, arranged it all. But this wasn't just adultery. In Tudor law, a queen's body belonged to the king. A secret affair wasn't just scandalous, it was treason. And treason was death. Just as her affair with Culpeper bloomed, her old lover Francis Dereham arrived at court. Threatening to expose everything, Catherine gave him a role as her secretary to keep him quiet. It didn't work. It gave her enemies a match, and now they had dry wood. Rumors reached John Lascelles, a Protestant reformer. He took them straight to Archbishop Cranmer. The truth was whispered to Henry in a letter, left on his prayer bench. He didn't believe it at first, but doubt is poison. A quiet investigation began. Servants were questioned, past sins unearthed. And then the final blow. A letter from Catherine to Culpeper. My heart and body are at your disposal. 24 words that signed her death. Henry wept when he read the letter, loudly, animal-like. He locked himself away. When he returned, it wasn't with grief, it was with rage. He fled the palace, refused to see Catherine again. To him, the queen was already dead. Catherine ran through the halls barefoot, screaming for the king. "Henry, please!" But the guards only dragged her away, to Sion Abbey. Her crown stripped, her title gone. She was no longer Queen Catherine, just a prisoner with a prayer book. Durium and Culpeper were tortured. Durium disemboweled, Culpeper beheaded. In January 1542, Parliament passed an Act of Attainder, making it treason for a queen to hide her sexual past. No trial, no defense. Catherine would die. She practiced her execution the night before, laying her head down over and over to get it right. Not for dignity, for mercy. Because one flinch might mean 2 swings of the axe. She wore black, elegant, simple. Her final words, "I die a queen, but I would rather die the wife of Thomas Culpeper." 1 swing, 1 cut. 19 years old. Buried under the tower floor, they erased her portraits, her name, her memory, but not her pain. Because Catherine wasn't a villain. She was a girl, used, neglected, punished for growing up in the shadows of power. Henry VIII moved on, but many say he was never the same. The girl he called his rose without a thorn had shown him what thorns really felt like. History called her reckless. We call her forgotten. If her story stirred something in you, subscribe. Because here, we speak for the voices they tried to silence.